Hello, welcome in. If you're here listening to this podcast, that means you're destined for something great, and we both know it to be true. So without further ado, welcome to the Dark Matter Podcast. Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. Dev here. And last week was a phenomenal episode. Got a lot of response from it. For those that missed it, I was talking about how Jess and I are reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. A powerful, phenomenal book. Really help people achieve their desires, their dreams, their goals. And last week I talked about the power of auto-suggestion, how our subconscious mind processes so much information and it will filter out information based on what is happening around us, what we're consuming, what we're intentionally programming our minds with. And overwhelming response of maybe support. And so with it, I think it only makes sense to continue on that trend and provide just another tidbit from the book. So this week, I want to share the idea, and I've shared this before on the podcast, the power of clear and intentional goal setting and knowing your actual desire, I think, is one of the most important things you could ever imagine. And I think it's to the degree on how much you actually want it is to the degree on, again, how likely it will be to actually achieve it. And in the book, he talks about this guy, Edwin C. Barnes. Edwin C. Barnes was this guy. He really didn't have much going on, didn't really have much money to his name, any credentials to his name, wasn't really anything. And this was a time where Thomas Edison, who is an American inventor and businessman, he developed many devices in fields such as electric power generation. He was on the rise. He was in the newspaper. He was being featured all over the place. Like, he was really being awarded and stood out for all of his achievements. And Edwin C. Barnes knew that he wanted to be in business with this guy, Thomas Edison, because Thomas Edison was doing some phenomenal things. Edwin, even though he wasn't doing anything incredible at this point, knew that he wanted to do this. And so in the movie, it shows, there's a movie as well, but in the book and in the movie, it shows that he wanted to get a train to go see Thomas Edison because they were in different states. And Edwin went to the Edwin C. Barnes. He ended up going to the clerk and he asked how much was it for a ticket, and the guy said $16 or something, and it cuts back to him and he only had a few pennies in his pocket, a few cents or a few dollars, not enough to even afford a $16 train ride. And so the train was taking off. He ended up just running and jumping on the back and just hitched the ride to the place that he was, I think New Jersey or something, wherever it was at that time. And he ended up going into his house, and he had a mansion, like all these things. And he ended up going in, and his Thomas Edison's personal assistant was there and was like, "Hello, do you have an appointment?" And he said, "No, but just tell Thomas Edison that Edwin C. Barnes is here, and he'll have been happy to have met me and brought me in today." And the assistant, the clerk there, was like, "He's super busy, but if you think that it'll be worth his time, then sure." Got him in, and Thomas was like, "Are you an investor?" And he says, "No, I'm not an investor." He goes, "Have you created anything? Are you a businessman? What are you?" And he just said, "I don't really have anything under my belt, but I know that we're going to be in business together, and I just know you're doing some pretty phenomenal things, and I can be a valuable asset to what you're creating." And Thomas was just like, "Are you here for a job?" And Edwin was like, "I'll take any job that you can get me. Anything that you'll give me, I'll take it. But my goal is to be in business with you." And so he's just like, "So you came here with nothing. You came here with no credentials, no investments, no inventions." And he said, "So you're coming here with nothing." And Edwin said, "I don't think desire is nothing." And that was the thing that was huge for Thomas. And Thomas Edison was like, "Okay, we'll start you down in the stock room." And I think it took him about 5 or 7 years. I can't really remember how many years it was, but he just was there. He was there. He was working. He was doing whatever he could to be there in the presence. And then one day the opportunity came where Thomas Edison created some device and he wanted it sold to every office in America. And his team of salespeople, sales professionals, said that it couldn't be done. And Edwin C. Barnes built a whole marketing strategy, a whole marketing plan on how to get this into the hands of every business owner in America. And at that point, Thomas Edison said, okay, I'm appointing you head of sales. And together, Edwin and Thomas together became what they became. And it's just so powerful because Edwin C. Barnes traveled across the country with nothing in his pocket, with nothing but desire. And he knew no matter what, he was going to do whatever it took, and as for however long it took, to get into business with Thomas. And then the opportunity came and he seized it. And the reason I feel like the story is so powerful is because that in itself is the depiction on how consistent and how serious we need to be with our goals. And if it's not that serious, and it is one of those things where any slight disappointment will lead to us being deterred and wanting to shift our priorities and our goals, then it's not that serious. We don't actually have a deep desire for it. And I think that this is just so powerful because, as we already know, we will really encounter a lot of setbacks, no matter what it is that you're doing. Now, although we know that business and entrepreneurship is the best form of personal development out there, no matter what it is, you're in a relationship, may go south. You're at a job that you like, it may go south. Some things with your family may go south. There's a lot of different things in a lot of different aspects and areas of our lives that might go south at any point in time. And I think it's just so important that we understand that it's in when things go south that we build our character development, our discipline, our identity. And I think this is just so important. And as we understand this, we understand that no matter what venture, area, goal, company, job, occupation, career, relationship that we have, when it goes south, if it isn't a true deep desire, we're going to be looking at the next best thing. And one of my last mentors there, when I did door to door, he used to say, a lot of people come and join door to door and they hate door to door. And they think that I hate door to door, but if I went to go do car sales, for example, or real estate, it's going to be different. And he's like, the thing is, it's not different. The grass is not greener on the other side. What's going to happen is people don't like door to door because they don't have the work ethic to keep showing up. When you get punched in the teeth over and over again, sometimes for weeks, do you have the courage to keep showing up? And a lot of people don't. So a lot of people, when they go through these setbacks and these hardships, if they aren't sold on the goal and the desire of really doing more and achieving more, then what ends up happening is they get a couple no's in a row and then they just bow out and they go do something else. And so he said a lot of people want to go do something else, go somewhere else, get a different job, but you're just going to take your same lazy self there and do the same shitty bad habits that you're doing here, there. And that's the reality, right? That is the reality of the situation. And what happens is if we create these goals for ourselves, if it's something that isn't real, then we just get pulled away. For example, when I was doing the business coaching, the business and marketing coaching, yes, I liked it a lot. But what I loved about it was I loved seeing people win. People who lacked faith, lacked belief, didn't think that they could do the things at all, and then under my mentorship, really start winning and achieve new heights in their business and their life. That is what I loved. I didn't care so much about business and marketing. I cared about seeing these people win and thrive and be happy. That's what I cared about. And in doing this, the business and the marketing coaching, it was fun. There was challenges, and there was a lot of challenges where we used to run masterclasses and we didn't always have a lot of people show up. And there was always a back and forth between me and my business partner then. And there wasn't enough to keep us wanting to do it. And that's why in December of last year, I stepped away, because it just wasn't enough anymore. It wasn't strong enough to be like, we can handle these down times and these tough times, because the bigger goal here is that there's so much more that we're after, right? Whereas now with the software that I have, this is so powerful. This is my favorite thing, because now it takes me back to what I'm passionate about, which is to help people. And now I can do it in a way where it's something I'm passionate about, which is automation and tech and software. And this stuff comes so naturally and so easy to me. And some of the coding that I'm learning now and some of these things, it's just so fun for me to learn. And I feel like there's such a passion in it. Now I'm learning how to build chatbots and AI widgets for websites, and how to respond in the DMs and conversations or on your website with AI. And this is like so fun for me to be able to understand how to do this stuff. And so with this, because I'm so passionate about it, because I see the power of it, because I get to do what I love, which is to really inspire people and see them win and learn about things that I'm actually interested in, even when there are setbacks, it doesn't pull me away, because I'm pulled by a deeper desire. The deeper desire is knowing that I'm going to help every single person, every single business that comes into my world. But more importantly, I'm actually glued and tied to a goal that is much bigger than me and this and that situation. And it just becomes surreal, because for a long time, you don't realize what you're capable of. And you need to set goals that really inspire you. Now, for those that don't know, a goal of mine for a long time had been to make $10,000 a month. Now, $10,000 a month sounds great. And for a lot of us, depending on our current situation, that might be like, yeah, that's absolutely a great goal. But as I've said in earlier podcasts, that for what? Why is that the goal for you? Because I can live comfortably. I can start putting X amount away, and I can go on travels and vacations and be able to do certain things with it. But then you realize that $10,000 a month is really not a lot. It really isn't. Like, it's a lot in comparison to people working a 9 to 5, but it's not compared to the people that are making $1 million a month, for example. And so you just get to a point where you just realize, what am I actually after? Because $10,000 a month is good. It's going to help me out of my current situation, but my current situation doesn't determine my potential. My current situation cannot determine my potential. My potential has to dictate where my goals go. Because if I'm acting out of my current situation, might be like, yeah, I just want to enroll one $5,000 client. I'm happy. But that's nothing. That is not working to my potential. That is not working towards my greater good, what I'm actually put here on this planet to create. That's not it. Just to enroll a $5,000 client. That's not it. And so when we look at these things, we realize that our current situation, it's good, but it can also be harmful. And Jess and I are actually looking at making some moves over the next little while, and we set some pretty big goals. And we always set goals, like I said, for the last couple of months, it had been like, oh yeah, $10,000 a month. But then again, that's based on my current situation. And so now we're doing some goal setting, and we're like, what do we want our ideal place to look like? And I think in doing this, it's such a healthy activity to go online and to look at the most expensive places in the world. Just do that. Because when you do that, you realize that what your goals are, what you're working towards, doesn't mean shit. And pardon my French, but it seriously fucking doesn't. $10,000 a month, $20,000, $50,000, these numbers are fucking peanuts. Like for us, again, our current situation, yeah, $50,000 a month is great. But then you look online, you see a place that's $16 million. And it's just kind of like, shit. So $50 a month doesn't mean fuck all. And I think it's in doing this, it's in stretching our awareness to realize that if it's within your awareness, you are capable of achieving it. And I want to repeat that. If it is within your awareness and it is things that you are seeing around you, that means you are capable of achieving it. And I think when we understand that and we start acting from that, the world opens up for us. And so many things that we don't think are possible are possible. I used to think it was impossible to enroll $1,000 online without knowing a person, and then I closed a $10,000 deal. I used to think it was impossible to create success away from an hourly 9 to 5 comfortable job, and then I generated $20,000 a month. And I think when you start to understand what's out there, it's incredible. I used to think that $50,000 a month was incredible, and then I sat in a room where people are making $500K a month. And I think it's in these perspective shifts that you realize, wow, there is so much more out here. And so the topic of today is desire. And I want to share this because, again, you're going to face these setbacks. You're going to face these challenges. And if you are not relentless in this, understanding that no matter how hard you get hit, you get back up and you keep moving towards that goal because that is truly, genuinely what you want and what you love, you'll never achieve it. You won't achieve it. And we'll just be continuously jumping around. And you guys know that I coached coaches for a long time. And when I saw coaches that came in, would try for 6 months, and then next thing you know, they're doing like affiliate marketing, or they're opening up a local coffee shop, or they're doing something like that. It means their goal, whatever it was, to make the impact or make a certain amount of money or whatever, it wasn't strong enough, because the first sign of disappointment, they bailed. Right? And this is across the board. Someone gets in a relationship with someone and they're willing to stick it out, and then they get into a small fight, and then next thing you know, they break up. All right. And I think obviously there are degrees to it, but I think for the most part, like, we have to be consciously aware of what our desires are. And if we aren't, and we don't work towards those desires, knowing that there's going to be challenges, there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be things that are going to really try to deter us from wanting to create the success and achieve the things that we want. I think in doing this, we understand that it's to the degree on how deeply you desire whatever it is, to the degree on how likely it is that you're going to achieve it. And so now, seeing these places for $20 million, it just makes me think, wow, my goals are small. And we know that it takes the same amount of energy to think small than it does to think big. So why think small? And it was just a great refresher for me to just realize that you have people that are willing to stick it out 8 years to finally get the opportunity that they want. And when they do, they become everything. They achieve the thing that they want, and the financial riches come after. Rich is more than just finances. It's healthy finances, sure, but it's also healthy relationships. It's healthy health, being healthy yourself. It's healthy state of mind, and it's healthy peace of mind. But it's so much more than just finances, but so much of us, so many times we just get caught up in the finances. And so I wanted to share this because the desires, just coupling it based on what we were talking about last week, which was auto-suggestion. And if you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, I would definitely go check it out, because auto-suggestion is so powerful. I feel like this has been the theme for the last couple of months for a reason. And if you're a first-time listener, lock in, because this is what we talk about here. We really talk about your desires. It's the real hard truth that we want to be aware of. And as we're working towards our goals, as we're working through these things, we really want to be consciously aware of, what do we desire? Deep down, what do we actually desire? What are we willing to go through to achieve this thing? And are we willing to go through absolutely everything to achieve this? I think that's the question. With whatever it is that you desire, are you willing to almost lose it all to achieve this thing or not? Because if not, you won't achieve it. And if not, then what you're trying to achieve isn't exciting enough for you. That's the thing. Whatever you're trying to achieve, if you're not willing to lose it all to achieve it, it's not exciting enough, which means you won't move fast. Now I have this goal, and I see this thing, these penthouses for $20 million, and I went and I printed off papers, and this is all I look at. And damn, some of these places, it's like when I was little, and even over the last couple of years when I got into personal development, I used to like daydream. When I used to daydream, I used to think about living in a condo, and the condo had 2 floors, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. It was open concept, so many windows. It was the top penthouse, and you could see off into the water and the mountains and everything. It was beautiful. And when you finally see it, you're just like, shit, this is it. And I think when you find the thing, it has to be something where it's, I want that. I have no idea on earth how I'm going to get that. And when you have something like that and you can work ruthlessly at it and know that you would give up almost everything to achieve it, that is the goal. That is where you want to get to. So think hard and deep about what you actually are working towards. And if you do not desire it to that capacity, you're not moving in the direction you want to go. That's going to be super helpful for you and your future. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as always. If you'd like to connect, if you have any ideas, if you want to be on the podcast, I'm going to leave links in the show notes down below. So have a look. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do it all. You know I appreciate it. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.